All right, so I wanted to make a video today going over my favorite companies in the materials sector. Another sector I think is going to do really good over the next decade or two, and I'll get into that. But first one, I have Freeport McMoran or McMoran, whatever, ticker symbol FCX. This is a copper producer. I believe they produce some other small amounts of minerals, but they're mainly a copper producer. Again, this is a company that's very profitable, very strong numbers. And the other thing about it too is that it's a company that's came down a lot over the last year. I mean, this is a company that peaked in about $52. It's down to 31 and change now. Um, the first thing I would acknowledge when it comes to basically every company I'm going to mention here is if we get a recession, they're going to get hit even harder than they've gotten hit. I mean, I don't see, this is a company that went down to about 25 in June. It's up, or sorry, July. It's up to 31 and change now. So, but again, if we get a deeper than expected recession, these companies will get hit hard because they are reliant, on a strong economy. But why copper? Why is it going to be a good mineral? Is again the whole electrification thing. Because again, if you look at electric cars, they need a lot more copper. We're going to have more wind and solar. Copper is a very good conductor of electricity. Not to mention it goes into a lot of building materials too. So again, and here's the thing, like this is going to be a volatile sector. All of these companies probably will be more volatile than, I mean, if you look at the beta on this, again, 2.01. So again, just proves my point in that, again, it's going to be volatile, but I think that the demand for stuff like this is going to go up, and it's going to go up a lot, and it's going to be a company like this that's going to benefit. You also have Southern Copper, I think, is a solid company as well. Better dividend, but I think the numbers on Freeport is a little bit better. So again, that's the first company I wanted to mention here. Um, Next one is Westlake. This is a company that produces like a lot of plastics and stuff like that. Let's see what they say. Yeah, petrochemicals, polymer, building products. So again, it's almost a consumer staple, to be quite honest. But again, if you look at a company like this over the long run, again, it's been growing very, very well. I mean, it peaked in 2014 at 97, peaked in 2018 at 115, then it peaked recently at 132. So this is a company that over the long run continues to make higher highs and lower lows. Although I guess in COVID they got hit harder than they did after in 2016, but still everyone got hit in COVID. So again, this is a company that's not going to be as volatile, although it still is more volatile than the market. But again, this is a company that, again, this is stuff people need, and the demand for that kind of stuff is only going up. Again, another company with very good numbers. So again, this is another company I'm definitely bullish on. But again, like I say, these are companies that you're going to need to hold for 5, 10, maybe even upwards of 20 years to actually need. So again, if you're just in it for the short run, these aren't companies you're going to want to be in. At least it's possible they'll do well, but not in my opinion. Steel Dynamics, obviously a producer of steel. Again, this is going to be a company that's highly dependent upon the economy. Again, if we get a recession, again, it's going to get hit hard. Although it is actually very close to its yearly highs, which is kind of surprising. It peaked at 93, it's at 84. So again, this is another pretty solid company. And again, in the long run, the demand for housing, commercial space, all that kind of stuff, it's only going up, right? It's only going up. And again, this is going to be a company that's going to benefit pretty well. Again, there's Nucor, which is again probably its biggest competitor. They're very good as well, although I believe steel is a tiny bit better. Um, and again, next company here, we have Mosaic. And this will be the last one I'll bring up. And again, Mosaic, again, they're producing fertilizers, stuff like that. Obviously, a company that made had a very big bull run to start the year with the whole Russia thing. Again, peaked at about 78. They're down to about 54 and change now, although they went down to about the low 40s. What did they start out the year at? Let's see here. They started out the year in the high 30s, low 40s. So um, again, this is going to be another one that's going to be very volatile. But again, over the long run, the demand for food is only going up, and the only way to get more food is more fertilizer, right? So I think this is going to be a company that's going to do well. But again, it's going to be volatile, right? It's going to be volatile. Again, you can see just this year how volatile it's been. Again, Nutrien, probably its biggest competitor, also a good company, but I think Mosaic's a tiny bit better. Their numbers are a tiny bit better. But again, so again, these are the companies that I believe are the best in the materials sector. Again, another sector I think is going to do really well over the next decade or two. Number one, because the demand for these materials is going to go up, and it's going to go up at a higher than normal pace, right? Because again, if we're going to go green, copper's got to go up. If we're going to increase housing, okay, we need more. Um, we need more. Actually, there's one more company I actually forgot to bring up here. Now that I think about it, and that's West Fraser Timber. This is a Canadian company. Again, obviously producing timber. Again, if we're going to get more housing, right? If we're going to get more building, this is a company that's going to benefit. Again, if you go back for this too, this is a company that always makes higher highs, right? 2015, 56, um, 2018, 68. Now recently it hit about 99. And again, I think it's only going to go up in the long run. Again, very, very good numbers on this company. The one last one I would bring up is Tech Resources. It's another Canadian company. This is one that again has been extremely volatile, although recently not quite as bad. But again, if you look over its history, the highest high it ever made was in 2011, and then before that it was 2008. It's never got actually anywhere close to those highs yet, or oh, sorry, recently. But again, they're a producer of a lot of minerals and stuff. Let's see what they say exactly. Um, Steel, coal, copper, zinc. So again, they're actually fairly well diversified, but they have some in Asia, Europe, and North America. So they're very well diversified there. Again, they are Canadian, but very well diversified there. Um, this is one that again probably would want to pick it up a little bit cheaper in my mind. I mean, if you look year to date, it's gone down into the mid 20s. We're in the mid 30s now, so I think if you could get it below 30, I think that would be a fair price, in my opinion, obviously. But again, this is another company over the long run that again these minerals and stuff they're only going to go up. Like at least the demand's only going to go up, and it's going to have to be companies like this that make the money off that kind of stuff, right? So again, long run, I got some of these energy companies, materials. Again, the companies that actually produce stuff we need are going to be the best performing companies. I think that the big run we had in tech, in consumer discretionary, in communication services, these more growthy type sectors, I think that we're going to have a decade of where those don't perform quite as well. I think the Googles, the Amazons, you know, some of the big semiconductors, like those ones are going to do good. But the days of the ARC funds and those kind of companies doing well, at least for the time they did do well, I think that that's over. I think, well, again, we will have some periods where they'll probably spike up, but over the long run, they're not going to do that good, in my opinion, right? Over the long run, you want to be invested in companies where there is demand for their product or whatever they're producing or selling, and that demand is only going to go up, right? And it is companies like these where that's going to happen. So, anyway, that's what I wanted to bring up today. If you liked the video, hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. Check out those links below and stay tuned for more.